Hello, you're about to see a tag video. I've not done one in ages and it's been that long that I forgot all the etiquette. And tag video is, by the way, it's 5 games I've never completed, and like I said, it's been that long. I was out on the streets, you know, like I forgot everything. I forgot all the etiquette, you know, and then so I forgot to mention. I did say who tagged me. It was Shockz16. I forgot to mention who originated the tag. I think it was Ghost, and I think that came from. I think it was a Game Chasers. It sounds like one of their top 5 Fridays. As you know, so that would have been top 5 games I've never beaten. So yeah, I thought I'd better slip that in. Otherwise, you know, because I forgot it by the end. The video ends that abruptly that I forgot everything. So I've done it now. I've slipped this in at the beginning, so you'll see that now. It's a long one. Apologies, and there's a fuck ton of traffic, so it gets a bit noisy. Hopefully it's not too intrusive, but you know, it's basically me just sort of like walking along a busy road banging on about stuff, so games I've never beaten. But yeah, so cheers for the tag by Shockz and Adam Ghost, who originated the tag, and I suppose the Game Chasers for sort of coming up with the idea, I suppose. I don't know, I might be wrong. If I'm not, then if I am, I apologise. So, cheers and enjoy if you can. See you later, or in a minute. Bye. Hello. Yeah, I'm out on a walk. I thought I'd take this opportunity to film my first video in a while. I do have an excuse because I was tagged. I've been tagged for years, properly tagged. Although I don't know what that means. What does properly tagged mean? I was tagged by Shockz. Shockz16, the 16th of the Shockz dynasty. Yeah, it was what was it? 5 games I've never finished. So I thought, yeah. Taken till now. He tagged me a couple of weeks ago, I think, or last week. I would have done it by now, but I can't really make videos at home at the moment because of the cunts next door. The builders. They've worked all through lockdown, and it's sort of I joked about it to begin with, but it has sort of left me as a sort of a simmering ball of rage, just 7:30 to 5 every day, just from Monday to Saturday. There are times when you can't hear what you're doing in the room you're in, so you have to, oh jeez, the nightmare. So it was basically making videos at home, unless it's Sundays, a no-go. But then I quite like having Sundays to have a nice relax, a nice chill out, and the evenings as well. So making videos is tricky at the moment. I think I've got stuff I would like to do, but it's just a bit of an arseache, and I feel that my mental well-being might might come across in a video that, you know, that I'm ready to go and knock someone out. No, I'm not, but I feel like I could. So yeah, I thought my best choice at the moment was to make a video when I'm out on a walk, and most of the places near me are along streets, which isn't brilliant. This is the best I could do because it's sort of semi-rural. Not likely to see too many punters on my way. The only downside is that fucking road there. I've made a video along here before actually, and believe it or not, we're inside the M25. This is London. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like London, but it is. But this is probably not the best choice I had for making a video. But it's only really the road that's gonna get in the way, get on my tits. I'll show you. Here we go. Here we go. This is the road. Look. Doesn't look a bit empty now. But anyway. Right. Hopefully the road doesn't. Hopefully you can hear me over the racket. It's sort of a bit of a dead giveaway. If there wasn't this amount of traffic. Boy Racers, the Boy Racers is a bit of a giveaway as well. If there wasn't this much traffic, you could be forgiven for thinking that we were somewhere in the, you know, somewhere in the wilds, but no, we're not. So, right, I feel like I'm new to this game as well. I don't feel like I haven't made a video. Actually, no, I tell a lie, I have. I did make a video about a month ago, but never uploaded it for many reasons. But so I thought, right, let's give it a go. I was given the excuse by Shockz, so yeah, right. After all that, 5 games so I've never completed. And I said to Shockz in the comments on his video how this was perfect for me, because starting games and not finishing them is sort of like my bag. I've done that a lot down the years. I'm not someone who feels a need to complete a game once I've started it. It's nice, and it, you know, it does sort of set it apart from the rest if I have completed it. But there are so many games down the years that I've got to I've played a significant amount of and just never completed for a whole load of reasons. So the basic, they're too difficult, you know. You get to a point, oh, this is way beyond my skill set. A few of those, often the skill-based games like shooters, and to go with that, I'm not the most, I suppose I lack persistence when it comes to that sort of thing. You know, normally if I play a shooter, you know, a good few goes, maybe sort of 5 or 6 goes, and that'll be me. That'll satiate my need to play a shooter. Is that the right use of the word, satiate? You know, like it'll dampen that hunger to play a shooter. And there's other weird reasons, like getting sidetracked. You get sidetracked and then wanting to go back to a game but forgetting where you are, or certain games like XCOM was for a long time, XCOM, the one I did the playthrough of, for a long time, that was a game that I'd never finished, and the first time I ever finished it was during that playthrough, because I knew how to finish it, but up until that point I just sort of not made the right choices and I got snowed under. Then you get to a point where you're gonna fail anyway, so you just sort of sack it off. But there's games like that, and then there's you know the sorts of games, they're often like the games where you get so far down the wrong way that things like yeah, XCOM I suppose, and like God games, and there's no way you're going to be able to pull it back. Other weird reasons I think are particular to me, like you getting the sun? No. Point at the sun. Under other weird reasons, like so hold it that way. So that way. Like certain games that if I've really enjoyed them, usually RPGs, if I've really enjoyed them, I'll get to a certain point and I've enjoyed it that much that it feels slightly melancholy. It feels slightly sad to finally conclude it and then not have to play it anymore, have nothing more to play because I've done it all. Like it's like that with Chrono Trigger. I played Chrono Trigger on the DS. I wasn't too sure about it to begin with. I didn't realise I didn't really get what all the hype was about. But then I stuck to it, and then I understood what the appeal was, and it became one of my sort of favourite games. But to the point where at the end I'd literally done everything. All my characters were done, all the grinding. All my characters were about as levelled as they were ever going to get. In Chrono Trigger they got up to 999, I think. And then look at that, lovely bit of fly tipping. So it's definitely London. So yeah, Chrono Trigger they got up to 999, and with that it was slightly different because I just really wanted to know how it ended, and it was a weird ending. Well, the one I think I got one of the good endings, but it didn't feel totally concluded to the point now at some point I'm going to have to feel the need to play Chrono Cross just to see how the story ends. But there are so many other RPGs that for whatever reason I've got to a point and just, you know, there are other games you just get stuck. And you know it's within your sort of skill set. You get frustrated and go, no, I'm not playing that. And anyway, let's put it this way, there's loads of games, loads of reasons for different games that I've never completed. I suppose a few honourable mentions. I can't say for certain, I might have put this on the list, I can't say for certain if I've ever completed, you might laugh at this, if I've ever completed Streets of Rage or Streets of Rage 2. I've got a feeling I have. But most playthroughs, you know, I'll literally keep going until I've lost all my credits. You know, because that's my skill set, that's my skill level, so to speak. I'll keep going until I've lost all my credits. Hang on, you're not going to be able to see it, but that's London across there somewhere. No, you can't see it. No, it's miles away. I've got to remember that this camera, you can't see fuck all in the distance. But yeah, Streets of Rage 2. I'll use up all my credits, and then usually I'll get to like the sort of the last bit of the last level on the, you know, on the build up to the final boss, and use all my credits, use all my lives, and then normal people would just have another go and start right from the beginning. I really can't be bothered to start right from the beginning, so I don't. And that happens a lot with me in Streets of Rage and Streets of Rage 2, Fighters, lots of other games. I really can't be bothered to go all the way back to the beginning and start again, and then you know, next time I'll play it will be a few days later, and I'll have another go, and I might beat it, I might not, but I haven't beat it, if I have beaten it at all, in quite a while. I think I have beaten it as a 2-player, can't say for certain, more likely, but Sonic, for a long time, that second level in Sonic, with the marble blocks, really fucking got on my tits. It really got on my tits to the point where I just couldn't be bothered. No, this is really got on my tits. I stopped. Apologies if the cars are really loud. I'm hoping you can hear me. You know what's going to happen when I watch this back and then can't hear a fucking word I'm saying. But anyway, I'll soldier on, watch it back. If it's alright, I'll upload it. Then I'll probably find out I've got a bogey hanging out my nose, something like that. I'll have to blur it out or something. Not that I know how to. But yeah, what else? I don't know, I can't remember. But I've made a fuck ton of notes for this. I'm gonna have to try and remember them. Because not having my computer in front of me or on my you know, a little bit of paper, I have to. It's all up here, or not. But right, 13 minutes. five games I've never beaten. I did write a list for this, and I whittled it all down, just sort of like a range. What's first? Let's go Final Fantasy 9. My current playthrough, I think it's around about 120 hours, I think. And where I am, I've got all of the the characters in my party. They're all well levelled. This is a weird one. I couldn't say for certain why I stopped playing Final Fantasy 9. It might. I think it falls into that category that I enjoyed it that much that I felt sort of slightly sad that it was coming to the end. Maybe it's a subconscious thing. I felt slightly sad that it's coming to the end. And I'll just prolong it. And it's been a couple of years now that I've not been back to it. I say I will go back to it, but it's been a while that I've not been back to it. And I can't say for certain. I can't say for certain where I am in the story. I know exactly where I've left the character, but I can't remember where I've got to go from that point on, and that's a common theme. I think one of the reasons I stopped playing because there were certain side quests that I'd missed out on and I won't get to do, and I think knowing that I'm not going to be able to complete the game to 100% first time out sort of puts a slight dampener on things, and that happens quite a lot. If I know that I won't be able to complete a game 100%, you know, that I've missed out on certain things, you know, and I can't go back to it because it's sort of, in RPGs you get, you know, like sort of you've missed out on certain elements of the story, and it's just, I suppose there's a certain perfectionism, I suppose. I'm going to hold the camera this way so it's not pointing at that's the sun that way, isn't it? Yeah. But I've got all the characters. I've done all the Chocobo side quests, which was a fucking nightmare. Chocobo hot and cold. It's a fucking nightmare. Probably the closest I've ever come to intentionally smashing up my telly, doing Chocobo hot and cold. I've been to Chocobo Paradise and all of that. I've fought Ozma. Is it Ozma? Oz? Yeah, is it Ozma? I think. I had one go, got my absolute arse kicked. I think not being able to beat Ozma was for because one of the other side quests I'd missed out on certain abilities, I think, which makes it a whole lot easier. So, and even now I know there was so many parts of that game I never even knew existed, and I'm so far down to the end of the game that I think, oh Jesus Christ, I never knew that even existed. It seems weird to go back so far into the game and pointing you at the sun now, aren't I? You know, it's so far into the game. It just seems weird to go back to that now, because it's almost like if it's even possible. But that was it. Another reason, this is a common RPG thing with me, is that I've seen all of the game pretty much bar the final area and the final boss, and it's probably sort of intimidating. Not, you know, like there's a certain fear of failure when it comes to bosses. You know, you're going to, if you're not sort of leveled up enough, you're going to get your ass kicked. But there's probably a bit of that. I like a lot of these, a few of these games actually I'm going to mention. I'm pretty much at that same stage. I've seen pretty much all of the game, and there's not much more I need to see or want to see. So I'm not that motivated to really continue on right to the end. Whether it's that, like I said, that melancholy about putting the thing to bed, or whether it's sort of a fear of failure. You know, not that you can really fail in RPG. It's one of the reasons I like them. It's just sort of persistence. But so Final Fantasy 9. Oh, someone coming the other way. So I'm just gonna turn you off for 5 seconds. I'm back. So yeah, Final Fantasy 9. You could say the same about most of the other Final Fantasies, but I sort of well, on my list there was a shitload of Final Fantasies, but this is only 5. I could do a list of about 30 or so, but a lot of them would be Final Fantasies. But probably Final Fantasy 9's the biggest one. Final Fantasy 7 did teach me about level grinding. I got all the way through the game, got to the last boss, sort of somehow got through into the second version of Sephiroth. Got absolutely pummeled. No, actually, I think I got through to the final version, final form of Sephiroth. Got pummeled. Had nothing left to beat the final form, and then just died miserably. So, yeah, Final Fantasy 9. What's next? Half-Life 2. Well, they specifically Half-Life 2 Part 2. This is another one. I enjoyed the game that much, but this is, even though it's an FPS, and you know, probably people who play FPSs a lot will know that if you're just a bit persistent, you're never not going to beat an FPS if it's just about persistence. And it's just, for a long time playing that game on the Xbox, I got on the original Xbox version, I got to a point I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to beat. It's when you first encounter that gunship. I think it's a helicopter gunship. And you think, what the fuck? And I didn't realise that you had to fire its own bombs back at it with the grav gun. But actually, there was something about this road I wanted to mention, why I hadn't done this video before. Because it's probably the quietest road, apart from that one other punter I just passed with back then. But last time I was up here, it was raining, and this road is a fucker if you're a pedestrian when it's raining, because they have lots of lying water, just pools, with all these cars pelting past. Last time I was up here, I got fucking drenched, and I was fuming to the point. I think a few of the drivers sort of were quite intimidated by how pissed off I looked, because I was drenched and fucking like a ball of rage. It was probably partially to do with my mental state from next door's builders, but you know, that's they didn't know that, but I must have looked properly fucking mental. But anyway, yeah, Half-Life 2 Part 2, probably, as far as storylines go, probably one of my favourites. It's so in depth, and there's so much sort of life, and it's just, the story's so interesting. And I played through Half-Life 2 with, again, a couple of areas I got stuck for a long time. I didn't know how to use the guided missiles, and I had to watch a video to show me how to use them, because I was sort of like failing miserably. But I got through that, you know, with a little bit of persistence. Then I think I went straight through Part 1 onto Part 2. And there are certain enemies in Half-Life 2. I think they're specific to the DLC, the add-ons. part 1 and 2. I think they're called hunters, and they're like these three-legged things that make a certain noise, and they're really quick and they're really low level, and they come after you, and I just got really fucking pissed off trying to take them out, and it just really wound me up. There's a farmhouse, like an old farmhouse, and they come and they attack you in this farmhouse, or this old disused, it's like a warehouse or something. And I suppose it's just about persistence and you know, taking my time, learning how to beat them. But generally, I'm just sort of like wildly firing my guns at them and sort of putting as much of the heavy stuff into them as possible until they all die, and you know, I can whittle them down, a few of them down. But apparently there's a knack to it. I generally don't look for knacks in games. The same with RPGs. I don't try all the really sort of subtle stuff that includes sort of weakening a character, or you know, status buffs and things like that. Generally, I just sort of save up all my heavy stuff and pummel it into enemies as much as I can, which is sort of a bit tricky if you're leading up to a final boss. Like Fantasy Star 4 is exactly like that. Save up all my good stuff and then just sort of unleash it on the final boss. But yeah, so I got not stuck, I suppose, just frustrated with not being able to beat this certain bit. And I bet that if I went back to it now, I'd probably do it inside, you know, like 5 minutes, which is often how things go. Does anyone else get that? You know, if you leave something, you go back to it, and then you wonder why you were ever stuck in the first place. But on top of that, I've watched videos of what's coming up after that, and there's this really irritating looking section with the tripods. I've forgotten what they're called. The tool things in Half-Life 2. So I feel like I've got a bogey hanging out my nose. Got another punter coming the other way. I'm going to have to turn you off in a minute. Yeah, actually I'll turn you off now and I'll get back to you again when I'm past them. See you later. I'm back, yeah. Half-Life 2, what are they called? The tripod things. The tall things on really long legs. And I know what's coming up, and quite frankly, it intimidates me. I think that cyclist who just went past, I think he was wondering what I was doing. Yeah, I know how to beat these the tripods, but it looks awkward and irritating and frustrating. And quite frankly, I'm intimidated by it. No, I know I'll do it eventually, but oh Jesus, don't know. I'm not sure I can be bothered. No, I can be bothered, and I will want to do it, but I'm just intimidated by the idea of having to do it to the point where I haven't done it. So yeah. But Half-Life 2 and parts 1 and 2 are amazing games, and it would be nice to finally see how it ends. But as with a lot of these games, I've almost had my fill. I feel like I've seen enough up to this point, and they will get finished eventually, but you know, like I say, I've seen enough. What's the way to say things? Say this. Yeah, I've seen enough up to this point, to the point where I'm not absolutely desperate to put it to bed, so to speak. Right. Suikoden 5. Similarly as with Final Fantasy 9, an RPG, I've got all the characters, or I had all the characters, because one of them died, and the fact one of your characters died means that I can't beat the game 100%, and it's like a first sort of, that's sort of slightly frustrating to know that I won't get the best ending. I think of all the games on this list, that's the one I put the most into. I think it's around about 220 hours, and for people who like RPGs, that's nothing, but 220 hours for me is a lot. And I love the game, and I've got all the characters, and they're all about as leveled as they're going to get, but again, it's that feeling that I'll be sad to see it go. You know, is that weird? Does anyone else have that? That's definitely one of the reasons why I sort of struggle, or don't finish as many games as I should. One of the other reasons is that I know what's coming up. The next section is one of the RTS sections in Suikoden 5, and RTS is not my favourite style of game. I would like to be able to do them, but it feels like spinning plates. And I think where you sort of, your attention's in one place, you have to be really on the ball. I like turn-based. Turn-based suits the way my mind works. I think with RTS, I think I sort of easily get overwhelmed easily, I reckon. I think that's what it is. And I know that's what's coming, and that was how, it was one of the RTS sections, was where the guy died in my, out of the 108 stars. He died in one of the RTS sections because you can lose them permanently. And I didn't know it. I think I saved it after that, and oh fuck. And by that time it's too late because I'd already saved over that part of the game. So I will only ever have 107 of the 108, which won't get me the best ending, which is slightly irritating. But I know that with this RTS section coming up, the same thing could happen again. And then I know RTSs frustrate me, and they don't. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I don't want any of my people to die. So I think I've just been putting it off. There's actually so it's a bit embarrassing because there's loads of cars slowed right down, and they can all see me talking to myself. But no, yeah, Suikoden 5 has actually been sitting on my PS2 for probably a couple of years, because I'm determined to finally tackle that RTS section, put the game to bed. I reckon I've probably got a good few hours left. I have to cross here, I'm running out of, yeah, I reckon I've got a good probably 10 hours or so maybe left, well maybe not, 5, maybe 10's a bit much, but yeah, again, I've probably seen about 95% of the game, and often that's enough. I don't know why it works like that. Often that's how my brain works. 95% of the game is enough. Not actually completing it is okay. I don't have to complete stuff. It's weird, I know, yeah, but anyway. I thought it was a. I thought I was showing you a really nice little pretty butterfly. Turns out I was showing you a dead butterfly. Well, it's a bit of a slight dampener on things, but oh well. Oh well. Rest in peace, little butterfly. Right. These aren't in order, by the way. There's no order. Minish Cap, number 4. Minish Cap. Zelda Minish Cap on the GBA. I could say the same for Link to the Past on the SNES, but I've played Minish Cap more than I have Link to the Past, and they've both gone the same way. And at the moment, I'm playing Soleil on excuse me. I'm playing Soleil on I think it's rush hour, man. There probably wouldn't be as many cars as this. Oh, brilliant timing. Anyway, I'm playing Soleil on the Mega Drive, and for all intents and purposes, that's like the Mega Drive's Link to the Past. Not quite as slick, but a decent enough game in its own right. And I could already. Someone just tooted me, or was that they tooting each other? Yeah. I can already feel that I'm going to get lost. And this is how it always happens in Zelda games. I get lost. Can't remember where I'm going, or where I am, or where I'm going, and I just sort of run and then think that then what I'm meant to be doing somehow escapes me. I don't pay attention to the storyline, or what I'm told or what I've read, and I forget, and then I get lost, and this can happen sort of hours and hours and hours into the game. it just seems that's how it goes with me and Zelda games, and with Soleil. I think this is going to go the same way. I think I might be alright with that one, because I'm not sure the map is quite as big as it is with Minish Cap or Link to the Past. But yeah, with Minish Cap, it's a stunning game. It's beautiful. I mean, people say that the GBA is like a handheld SNES, but the games look better than that. It might be because they're all on the smaller screen, but I can remember when I was playing Minish Cap, because I've not played it in a while. Oh, more hooting. Yeah, I've not played it in a while. I remember being quite blown away by how beautiful it looked. But the same thing happened as it happened with Link to the Past. I just kept on going and going and going, just going off at random tangents, not really following instructions or directions, not really knowing where I was going, just sort of running off into the wilderness and just not knowing how to get back to where I was meant to go to, or what I was meant to do when I got there. And I've had that game saved for, again, years. A lot of these are years worth of, they've been put on the back burner years ago. But again, I would like to get back to it one day. A lot of these, I'm determined not to just sack it off and start from the beginning. I'm gonna eventually get back to it, because I think if I do just put it to bed and fuck it, I'm gonna start again, be more methodical. It does make me feel that if I do that, what was all that time for? Is that like a sort of tens of hours, hundreds of hours of my life wasted? Is that the reality of the situation? That all of this is just a waste of your life? No, it's not. I'm not saying that at all. But that's how it would feel if I just sort of wiped out that game just because I got a bit lost. Couldn't be bothered to try and find my way back or put myself back on the right path. But I would like it. I do like games that at least give you a little indicator of where you are. I think with older games, you didn't, like that generation, 16-bit, you wouldn't always get that. I think 32-bit, you're more likely to get that, aren't you? Yeah. You go into the, you pause it and you go into like a quest screen or something, and it shows you where you are at the moment, what you're meant to be doing and where you're meant to be going. And you might have a map with an indicator, but I don't know. maybe just sort of the Zelda games just aren't my games. No, they are. I'm determined. Maybe do they ever have those sorts of elements to them? I need guidance. That's what it is. Guidance. Finally, on the Xbox, the original Xbox, Half-Life 2 was on the 360, on the orange box, by the way. But on the original Xbox, yet again another RPG, slightly different style. You can probably guess because there aren't that many RPGs on the original Xbox. Knights of the Old Republic. Again, like Final Fantasy 9, like Suikoden 5. I've seen pretty much all of the game. My characters are as leveled as they're ever going to be. All of my party characters are as good as they're ever going to be. In Knights of the Old Republic games, you can sort of train them to have some good or dark sides, can't you? and all three of my characters, all my battle party, or all of my characters, are all as good as they're ever going to be. I don't know, it's just how I need to do things. So I've done all that. I think there are certain parts in the game where you get attacked by Sith, aren't there? And I've got a feeling that I've done all of that. There aren't any more. And after those encounters, you get a shitload of stuff. I've got a feeling there's no more of that for me to do. I've done all of those. I can't remember where I am in the story. I'm pretty near the end. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. The only thing I can remember about the game is that I've seen all of the locations again. I've seen all of the locations. There's no more for me to see. My characters are as levelled as they're ever going to be. It's just basically probably onto the end game, or finding my way to the end game, however I'm meant to do that. Well, there's actually something about this, because it's an Xbox game I didn't realise. I've found out in the last year or so. But the only thing I can remember about my particular playthrough is that I just tried doing one of the side quests. I think it was a side quest. It was involving speeder racing. And I just couldn't fucking do it. I don't think it's part of the main quest. I mean, it's just a side quest. It's a speeder race, and you're meant to win the speeder race for whatever reason. I just couldn't do it. It really got on my tits. And from that point, I think from that point on, I just sort of took a break, and a break turned into a hiatus, and a hiatus turned into I haven't played the game in years. But I probably will have to get back to that pretty soon, as I've heard. Oh, there's yet another jogger this time, as I've heard, because apparently there's something about Xboxes which means that they're a ticking time bomb because of cheap. Hang on, I'll put you to the side for 5 minutes until I pass this jogger. Yep, back again. Apparently with the original Xboxes, I didn't know this. This is something I've only found out in the last year or so, that the components, what do you call them? I don't know what they're called. Whatever it is, it's the thing that controls the memory, how you record the time and the date, so that you can set the time and then it stays, it remembers the time. And I forgot what it is. What the fuck is it? I found out recently that cheap components means that they leak, or whatever it was. They leak, and it's just a matter of time before all that stuff leaking onto the inside of your Xbox is going to fuck it up permanently, beyond retrieval. And you know it's happening if your Xbox doesn't record the time and the date. If every time you turn it on, you have to set the time and the date. And mine does exactly that. So, if I'm ever going to beat Knights of the Old Republic, if that playthrough isn't going to be hours and hours and hours, because it is, Jesus, God knows how many hours. It's days, probably a couple of days worth, 50 at least, maybe not quite as many, maybe it's 40, I don't know. Might even be a lot more. But if that hasn't been wasted time, I'm gonna have to get back to that game in the next, I don't know, year or so. But yeah, will it happen? Hopefully. I don't want to waste my life. I don't want, because that would be, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna, right. I'm coming to roughly the end of my walk. This is the bit where there's more people, so it probably makes sense to end it here. So let's go back. Recap. Final Fantasy 9. What was it? Final Fantasy 9. Anyway, not in order. Final Fantasy 9, Suikoden 5, Minish Cap, Knights of the Old Republic, and Half-Life 2 Part 2. Not completed any of them. Played a shit ton of them. Although Half-Life 2 Part 2, it's not even that big, is it? But I suppose it ties into Half-Life 2 and Half-Life 2 Part 1, didn't it? So it'd make sense. It'd make sense if I did ultimately get to it. And if they're going to make a Half-Life 3, if they're going to make a Half-Life 3, then I probably should knuckle down. It's all about knuckling down, sort of showing a bit of persistence. But yeah, I'm going to let you go. Hopefully I haven't had a bogey up my nose, otherwise all this time, otherwise this will never see the light day. Hopefully that the wind and the cars haven't been too loud, but I feel slightly invigorated by the walk and my first video for a long time. I'm going to try and make a few more. I've got a few pickups, not many, not all games, but a few things I want to talk about. Look at this, look. How irritating would it be to live next to this? Fucking shooting range. I'd get right on my tits, and I thought I had problems with builders, but at least they're not builders with guns. Jesus Christ, can you imagine that? Builders with guns. I'm going to let you go, cheers. Look out for another video, whenever that will be. It'll be soon, I promise. Cheers, see you later. So yeah, I forgot to tag anyone. I mean, it's not like I've been making videos for 10 years or anything, is it? So I wasn't initially going to tag anyone, take the coward's way out. But I thought, no, fuck it, step up. I will tag someone. I will. I will give someone an obligation. I do enjoy them. I enjoy them. So, and it's fun anyway, isn't it? Now I've got a car right behind me just to put me off, because God knows I need things that are going to put me off. But yeah, who should I tag? I'm going to tag Rollercore X Eddie and Raz, whatever the fuck your name is now, Raz. Raz Tendo, is it? Just stick to one name, mate. It makes it a whole lot easier. But yeah, you two, you're tagged. 5 games I've never completed. I think you should be able to come up with some good ones. But yeah, M2, I'll put their links to their channels in the thingy below. I feel so out of shape when it comes to making videos, but I think I'll just call it a day now. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.